I love hearing good news, but not to be a Debbie Downer. I don't know if I'm excited to hear about this red wave that we're supposedly going to have in a few weeks. Why am I not encouraged by this election? I'm going to tell you now why most conservatives should not be too happy about this election and how it could really harm us over the long haul. Let's jump right into this video today. It's going to be a good one and hopefully a little eye-opening, and hopefully it helps us gain a little wisdom. Today's video starts right now.
I know the sign was given. It's in the way you move and in the
Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you for being here today. If you're new to our channel, please go down here, press subscribe. It's usually like right here, and then ring the bell. It does help us hopefully getting to the algorithm and hopefully spread the message of understanding our world, homesteading and prepping as a whole, and hopefully looking at it in the eyes of a wise individual as we maneuver our life and our family through America. So today's video is, it's a plus and minus for me. I'll be honest with you. As I said in the intro, we're seeing this uptick of everyone saying it's a red wave. We're going to take over the Congress. We're going to, have all this great leaderships. We may even have super majorities or filibuster majorities. Pump the brakes. I don't know if that's going to happen, and here's some of the reasons that it actually worries me a little bit more than makes me feel positive. So let's jump right into them. First major issue I have with this election and calling it a red wave. First and foremost, your executive leadership, your president, is not into this vote. So you may be voting against him, however, you're not changing the leadership, and you're not changing the deep state. Now, that is the first problem I have with this leadership. No matter what we do in Congress, Congress really has had no power to me the last few years. It seems like the Supreme Court and their decisions, or the president and his executive actions, along with non-elected governmental entities, have had power. I feel like the House and Senate, all they've done is just fatten their pockets and argue back and forth and really get nothing accomplished other than being good friends and eating a pizza after it's all over. So I really struggle with the fact of saying we're going to have a red wave, because really without the presidency, I don't think we're going to be seeing much policy change. That brings up the point of saying this. You've already seen the president and leadership come out and say, well, they're saying it's going to be a red wave, and we see that they're probably not going to be the ones to fix any of the issues that we're having. Already Republicans and the red wave and conservatives are getting blamed for the policies that will not change in the next 2 years. Meaning inflation will not get too much better in the next 2 years. We still may go to war in the next 2 years. We still are going to have shortages and supply chain issues the next 2 years. So then it allows them to have a great talking point for 2024, saying, look, the Republicans, they had the red wave in 2022 and nothing took place other than the same old, and it's gotten worse. So now you need to elect the Democrats back. Then it gives them opportunity to win the House, the Senate, and again, another presidential election. So I'm not that encouraged when I see the red wave, because we do not take the power of the presidency away. And to me, the Senate and representatives hadn't really done much of nothing. Secondly, getting into the nuts and bolts. The same leadership that has failed us in the past, who really let down the president the last time, is still in leadership. So I think the definition for insanity is keep doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. If we have McConnell and McCarthy and Scalise and all these people who have been in power, who are still not doing really anything for the Republican or the Conservative Party, all they're doing is fattening their pockets, building more power for themselves, and influencing elections, really not in a way that's more conservative. It's more of a centrist mentality, which has gotten us into crap for the last few years anyways. So for instance, McConnell, he's being censured by the Alaskan Republicans because here he is pushing money as a Republican leader now, pushing money to see Murkowski get elected again. When all of a sudden we see Trump and the conservatives pushing the other candidate into power. So we have McConnell pushing against other Republicans, push against more conservatives for people like Murkowski, who is always a swing vote and never really votes in a conservative way. Do you want him to be the leader of your conservative party? If we get back in party, if we win the Senate, McConnell still stays in charge. So we're insane to think that he's going to do something so amazing. The only thing that he's actually done is he held the vote on Garland during the Obama term. That's really the only thing I've seen that he's actually done that's actually been worth a crap. Sorry, I'm just being honest. He's been in power too long and he needs to go. We need better leadership in the Republican Party. So all of a sudden, if we win the Senate and we have the same people involved as leadership, what's going to happen? I see Lindsey Graham stumping for Herschel Walker. I have no problem with Herschel Walker. But again, we have the same issue. Lindsey Graham and all these people who now, they want to be conservative when it comes to actually getting the votes done and when it comes close to election time. But when it really comes down to it and during the main terms, nothing really happens. These guys, they just want the vote, but really all they do is play right between the 40s. They worry about being a centrist, maybe a little right on some issues, but ultimately not trying to change this nation and make it a better place. So I'm not trying to drop names, but all I'm saying is if we want a conservative leadership and we want to change and we want to see a red wave, we've got to get better leadership. Same way with the House of Representatives. Do we really have a red wave and do we really have a strong leadership? We have great firebrands. We have great conservatives in the House. However, none of them are in leadership. The only one that's in leadership that's actually worth something is Jim Jordan. All the rest of them, like McCarthy and some of those guys, they're just centrist, man. They're not doing anything for us. They've been in leadership before. They had the Senate and the House and the presidency for a short time with Trump, and all of a sudden nothing took place. Nothing changed. The policies didn't change. All they did was keep the status quo. So when I hear red wave, I don't know if I'm excited because I think it's going to give a talking point to the leftists and to the liberals and to the Democrats for next election when the presidency is up for grabs. Third and last point I struggle when I hear about a red wave is I see no one with a backbone, no one with a spine, and no one that's actually talking about the issues. They want to beat around the bush on a lot of the key things and then vote on things that everybody wants to see passed. So for instance, are you seeing major politicians come and say, we need to quit messing around with Ukraine because all the money we're funneling there instead of paying for people here in America, for helping people here in America? Do we see anybody standing up against the big medicine providers and the big pharmaceutical companies? We need to start making medicine here in America instead of having it made all over the world and not really being able to get it, and we're in shortages now. Are we seeing anybody push saying we need to actually have true policy on morals and values? You know, they talk about it when they're not in leadership. So conservatives come right now and they'll say, well, we believe this when it comes to core and moral values. But when they're in power, nothing gets done. Again, I go back to when we had the presidency, the Senate, and the majority in the House. What did we actually do? We talked about doing all these things. And yes, we've got a Supreme Court, a few picks on the Supreme Court, which was great. But is that all that our legacy was? So when this red wave is supposedly going to come, we win the Senate and we win the representatives, what policies can we really enact without the presidency? Do you think working together, I hear people like Oz, who is winning now, and really, here's my problem. Our country is so crappy right now. Pennsylvania Fetterman, who, man, I feel sorry for him, but they're running this guy, and he can't even put a whole sentence out. And the Republican is only up by like 3 or 4%. That's terrible. And on top of that, he's still pushing that he's going to work with Democrats. He's going to do this. He's going to do this. So he's definitely a more centrist right. Do you honestly believe that they're going to vote on good, strong policies and have a strong backbone to support major conservative causes? True change in our country cannot come when our leadership is really all working together. I'm sorry, I said it. When we're all just yelling at each other, but ultimately going to get a pizza after it's all over, and it's just a political game to pass money to another country to then turn around and get it back, to be paid by lobbyists, to be quasi-millionaires to pass the policies they want, the pork that they want, and ultimately nothing really changes. There may be 10 great representatives, there may be 2 or 3 great senators, but they can't do it alone. And if we don't put those people in power and we elect these same people who are more centrist right and who are more rhinos, what are we really getting? Spineless jellyfish. Liz Cheney's, I mean, she's supporting Democrats. She's literally putting her weight behind Democrats. Is that what a Republican does? I'm not saying we shouldn't work together. I believe in a less polarized America. But the things that conservatives should be standing on is the Constitution, morals and values, and having a backbone for freedom and liberty. And I'm scared to say I don't know if the red wave is going to bring it. So sorry for being a Debbie Downer, but here is a solution. You go out there and you elect people who are standing on truth, principle, and morals. and you push your representatives and senators. If they get a red wave come in and you're the one that helped elect that person, you email them, you message them, you call them, you see them, you go to their events, and you push the fact that you want better policies than what they've done. We don't want status quo. We want a return of our nation. We want America to be the great city on hill that it was. So I'm cautiously optimistic. Yes, do I think a red wave could help us stop the bleed of some of the stuff that we've done the last 2 years? Can it hold up on some of the policies that have been passed? True, it can. But if all we're doing is always playing defense and always trying to stop the bleed, then we're never working on offense, and we're never doing anything to push back and really build the America that we once had. So I challenge you to get out there, gain wisdom, and understand how to push back and how to build freedoms and liberties back up, and elect people who are not just talking and telling you they're going to vote this way or telling you they feel this way about your morals and values, but it's people who are actually doing it. It's not the sleazy politicians. It's the people who are working day in and day out next to you in your community, and now all of a sudden they're running for office. They're the ones that's going to make the change. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sorry, I just had a little rant because I hate to hear the red wave, because I believe it actually could cause us more issues when it comes down to 2024, when we're supposed to have an easier way to get some of these representatives and senators elected, because it's some of our easier districts. And then on top of that, the presidency is up. So don't let the media spin what's going on. Don't let your politicians, the red wave, come in and just do status quo. It's time to grow a backbone and be an American and push for freedom and liberty, and most of all, core values of what made America great. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If you agree with me or disagree with me, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Also share this video and get some other people's opinion. One great thing about social media and our platforms, it allows us to spread our message to a lot of people. Even if I'm spreading my message, you also have friends on Facebook, YouTube, and any other platform that you're using. Rumble, TikTok, Telegram, I don't care, whatever you're on. You're able to influence people, and it's time to influence people for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons. It's not about talking about how bad the other group is. It's about making sure people understand the value and the wisdom and the beauty of these great policies that made America great. So be a light today. Be a city on a hill. Help America become what it used to be, something great. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.